absolutely love Tillandsia tectorum because it reminds me of a very beautiful snowflake, or it looks like that it has this kind of frost or icicles on. I'm going to show you a little bit more up close. This is a plant from a high elevation area in Ecuador and Peru. And this plant, as you could see, is probably subjected to a lot of high light and a lot of intense conditions. And the reason why I say that is because it is so white. And typically when you start to see plants across a range of spectrums, the ones that have this kind of white appearance are ones that are trying to bounce sunlight off of them. So in order for this plant to be able to get light, it needs a little bit more high intense light because it has to work past the whiteness of the plant in order to be able to help get it, some food, which is, what the chlorophyll, because this does have a little bit of chlorophyll in it underneath all of its fur, if you will. So these little trichomes here, which I was referring to as fur, if I could show you even a little bit closer, look how beautiful that is. So those are called trichomes, and those trichomes, like I said, not only help protect it from the sunlight, but also get a little bit more nutrients. So as nutrients kind of come in off of a heavy rain or a heavy wind, then that will get trapped by the trichomes. So knowing that a little bit more of its native habitat and how it actually exists in its native habitat could help us understand a little bit more of how we actually take care of this in our homes. So I already mentioned to you that it's subjected to more bright light. So if you're growing this in a darker area of your home, then it's probably not going to grow. As a matter of fact, it's not going to thrive at all. So you want to give this a little bit more full sun, high direct light. So this one is sitting now closer to my southwest facing window. And the other thing to know is because of these trichomes, it's going to need to dry out very quickly. So instead of soaking this, anything with like too many trichomes, I tend not to soak. So my Tillandsia xerographica, my Tillandsia bulbosa, my Tillandsia ionantha, there are very common ones that you could find in the houseplant market. Those are ones that I don't mind soaking as long as I have airflow on them afterwards. This is one that I would recommend actually just spraying or misting a bit, because otherwise, if you soak it, you're going to need to get airflow on it immediately, because this is not one that appreciates being wet for any length of time. Or remember, these are growing up in high elevation, it's under intense sun, probably a lot of intense wind. It's growing next to cacti and other types of succulents, so it's going to want to, exist in that kind of environment. So quick mist, quick mist out. Quick mist out. So doing that maybe once to 3 times a week is going to be totally fine for this plant. And 3 times a week, you're probably upping it if it's in the summer months and you're giving it a lot of intense light. You could probably reduce the amount of watering if you're giving it a little less intense light. Now, as far as fertilizing goes, this is in a very nutrient poor area. So you're not going to even fertilize it the same way that you would fertilize your other Tillandsia. It might be then over-fertilized if you were doing that. So typically when I fertilize my Tillandsia, I'll put some of the fertilizer in the water that I dunk it in. So alternatively, I would just be doing a little spray of Tillandsia or bromeliad fertilizer. I would even maybe reduce that down by adding more water so you're not over-fertilizing it. And then I would do that maybe on a quarterly basis for this one. You could probably up it if you want and experiment, but these plants are not necessarily the cheapest plants on the market, and you just want to be a little bit more mindful just because they are a little bit more special in their morphology. So hopefully this helps you learn a little bit more about Tillandsia tectorum and appreciate the beauty of certain air plants.